that always will still come to the point to where like the human is going to have to get involved at some point. It can only go so far. Even in recruiting, it's not like AI. AI is just the newest kind of toy in a way. Over the last 20 years, there's been so many tools that have tried to make you recruit, faster and screen faster and this and that, and all these things, and that's beautiful. But guess what? The hiring manager still wants to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
they're still going to want to talk and meet with you and everything. And so like the human, so like no matter how fast on the front end, the human being is still going to hold it up.
The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you're ambitious, but are manual tasks like admin, lead generation, nurturing, and onboarding holding you back from truly scaling your business? Imagine saving dozens of hours every week, freeing you to deepen client relationships and execute high-impact strategy. Our clients aren't just imagining it. They're saving countless hours per week and doubling their revenue within months. We custom-build AI automation systems that eliminate the grind. From effortless lead generation and nurturing to seamless onboarding, we give you back the most valuable resource, your time, so you can focus on building those vital human connections and driving strategic growth. Stop letting repetitive tasks limit your potential. It's time to build a business that works for you, not the other way around. Ready to unlock your true scaling power? Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free AI audit call today to discover how you can save time and double your revenue. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Intelligence Forge YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode.
Winning government contract with AI. How automation is redefining business growth and opportunities. Welcome to the Intelligence Forge. My name is Emmanuel, and today I have an incredible guest who is not only survived the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, but has mastered one of the most complex areas of businesses, government contracting. Tony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Tony, you've got a very fascinating journey from technical recruiter to getting laid off in 2012, and to now you're helping business owners to win millions in government contracts. Could you introduce yourself and tell our audience about Strategex 360 and what you are doing there?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, with my company, I started my personal company back in 2013 after, I got my master's degree. And then, after I got my master's degree, got laid off. I was in my early 40s at the time, was definitely feeling ageism, racism, all that kind of stuff at the time. Could really foresee the writing on the wall, at the time. And I'm also a veteran, so I decided to try to use my background, which is in technical recruiting and staffing, leadership, and all that. Me being a veteran, and also having had a lot of corporate experience and knowledge about who's who and all of that to try to go forward. Took me a while to finally win my first government contract. I had done probably every single thing wrong, but finally I got my first government contract during a time when I was going through some personal stuff. Me and my daughter's mom were splitting at a time, and just a lot was going on, and it was my back was against the wall. I got my first government contract in 2018, then a few months later got my second government contract, and then from there, company started growing a lot. I started Strategic 360 about a year ago as consulting, because I kept getting asked, how are you winning all these contracts and stuff? And I was in this program from Goldman Sachs, and they pulled me aside, and was like, hey, you might be able to help some people. But started that about a year ago, been helping people win government contracts, get into the government contracting world. At the same time, my company, we're still winning government contracts. Yeah, so that's what's going on.
Well, thanks for sharing. Very, very fascinating. I mean, I remember this quote that in every situation, in every adversity, there's always an element of good thing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your story is something we can attest to, that even though you were laid off, you didn't allow that to pull you down. You pick up yourself and you see an opportunity, and today you have a story to tell. Wow, that's incredible. I love hearing success stories, and I know you've helped a lot of clients to secure some millions of government contracts, but the question is, what is the most exciting win or breakthrough that you have had recently with your company that you want to share with our audience today?
Sure. Yeah. 2025, we've been awarded, I think, 8 or 9 contracts so far. We work with a lot of different states, cities, counties. We do some federal government contracting. Just last week, we got awarded another contract with the state of Virginia, but our largest contract was awarded in 2023, is in December 2023 was our largest contract, and it's with Gwinnett County, Georgia. It's a multi-year contract, about $52 million. We're one of 7 companies on that. We came in number 1 on that bid, and so yeah, it's a definitely a pretty large. There's been some other that's our largest one that we've been.
All right, that's very great. Thanks for sharing that. You mentioned earlier that you have been seeing some very good results using AI. I actually put it in your own word as transform the staffing and recruiting space and using automation for lead generation. I'm just curious about your tech stack. What exactly are you usually using? Do you want to share that with us?
Using AI for government contracting. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different tools within, a lot of industries, for sure, for recruiting and staffing and all that. But when it's specifically for government contracting, well, there's a lot of new tools for writing proposals, responding to proposals, so that you can respond to them a lot faster. You can put in the whole solicitation and match up what your skills are with what that is, and be able to respond a lot faster. I mean, I recommend, not relying 100% on it, because well, hey, we all know that the writing can easily try to be identified as AI. Yeah, if you're going to maybe make sure to expand it, make sure to use a lot of different graphics and stuff, to really make your proposals and stuff come alive. But it's, yeah, especially when it comes to the pricing, you can really help out a lot, because a lot of the stuff, it's hard, can be hard to understand. You may get a solicitation and it may be 200 pages, and you put it in and it'll tell you exactly, hey, you need this, and this, to respond effectively. So yeah, those are some of the things, that every day using it for.
Okay, let me just go a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to pick something specific, maybe one AI tools that you actually use. Maybe tell us the name and actually how do you actually use this tool and to get what results?
Yeah, well, ChatGPT is a great tool. I use it all the time, every day. For a lot of different things. For responding to really initially understanding, making sure that hey, we understand exactly what this is and what the scope of work is. There's for pricing, I use that a lot. Yeah, I use a tool called Proposal Kit that helps me put my proposals together and make them really, really, really nice. I can, use a lot of different, they have hundreds of different types of templates and stuff, but it's really nice to be able to put it, put your titles in. You can choose what your titles are for each section. Proposals end up being really, really nice. You can tailor it within Microsoft Word, which is, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, AI is actually transforming every industry. We just have to know which one we want to use for what purposes and then use them correctly to get the benefit. All right. Let's move on to the magic wand question. This one question everyone get to answer in the podcast. And the question is, if you have a magic wand today, and if you could wave an instant and perfect AI tool that could probably help you win more government contracts or maybe help you to implement more government contracts, what will that tool be? And what exactly will the results be for you?
It would be something that could automatically fill in a lot of the paperwork that is associated with responding to proposals, because there's a lot of government contract and you're filling out a lot of the same information over and over and over and over and over again. I haven't found a tool yet that can actually fill the stuff in for you. I mean, it can maybe spit out back to you like, all right, hey, here's the stuff we need to fill in. But then you just have to still, because they're in PDF format typically, and yeah, I've got some tools within Adobe and all that allow me to add text and all that, but the AI can't, I haven't found a tool that can do it all for you, so that, because that would be the biggest time saver for everybody would be to, is there a tool that can actually fill in the documents that are supplied that you have to send back, along with the proposal and stuff. So that would be probably the biggest, the biggest
Well,
thing.
yeah, I guess one day you may be able to see that come to play for you.
Mhm.
But let's dive into something close to your response. I mean, we know definitely our audience will be curious to know the intersection of AI and then government contracting, which honestly, most people think that, well, very traditionally, there is paperwork when it comes to government, just based on what you just described. Because if
Mhm.
you have to fill in a lot of paperwork, you don't want to do that all the time. But apart from that, in your own perspective, how has AI actually changed government contracting landscape? Have you seen a lot of improvement or fundamental shifts in
Mhm.
the way that this particular sector is being run?
Well, everybody is kind of using AI, in their proposals now. So like I'm sure that the quality has kind of gone up, quite a bit. I'm sure, although it would probably, I'm sure that a lot of them probably look pretty similar, which is, something that I'm on the other side, they may have to deal with. It probably helps a lot because, like for me, it took me years to really kind of understand what all this stuff was, and I hired different people to help and they didn't do anything, versus now, you can really, it can break down exactly what things are, and in an understanding way, much different than before. You don't have to go rely on different experts and stuff. So that's a huge that's a huge benefit already right there. That the government, are, and all governments, they're, because it's new. Most people think of like the government, they first think of like just the federal government, but there's many types of governments. Like I say, city, counties, there's all kind of different agencies and quasi government stuff. Well, they're all looking into AI too, all of
Yeah.
them, because they're all looking into how we streamline our operations, how can we save
Mhm.
money, hey, how can we make sure that we're getting the best price for this product or service, because whatever government that you're talking about, they're using public dollars. So like, hey, if they can make sure that our dollars are being, used more efficiently. So, and then there's a lot of opportunities and proposals that they're looking for now, for AI integration and AI, all kind of stuff. There's AI recruiting opportunities, there's AI, all kind of stuff, all kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
it's not like, it's not like, oh, I don't know. They're all just like every company are out there, and they're all rushing to do the same thing, so
Mhm.
that they can be more efficient in trading and buying and servicing and all the other stuff that we rely on our governments.
You've been in this space since 2018. What's the biggest challenge you face in trying to integrate AI and automation into the traditionally, relationship heavy word government contracting. How do you balance technology with human relationship? That's so critical in this space.
It's you use it for what for the best things you can use it for, which is, hey, maybe on the proposal stuff, maybe some of your outreach. But when it comes to the human connection, I mean, there's nothing AI has been able to do to be able to replace that. So
That's
you
correct.
know, yeah, so it may help you respond and everything and everything better, but they're gonna check you out and all that, So yeah, the human connection there's nothing that can beat that, especially when it comes to different government agencies and stuff. They want to know who you are, the business owner, of the small business, and what you're all about, and everything. Can you do what you say you can do? I mean, it's great that you proposal looks great, but can you deliver what you say you can do? And nothing but other than the human connection, hey, references of where you may have done it in the past. So that those things are still going to come into play.
That's true. The human element, you cannot write that off. Again, we've said that over and over here on the podcast that the human touch is very important when you use AI. We cannot outsource everything to AI. But I mean, my major, question to you would be, have you seen any challenge when it comes to adoption of AI, especially within your own space? Have you seen probably some of your other colleagues in trying to adopt AI, in trying to implement AI? Have you seen any challenge that you think, well, this is very common, this is very typical in terms of when somebody's just getting started to try to use AI, but they experience some of this challenge? And how do you think they overcome those challenges?
I think like the biggest challenge right now is just that there's so much of it now. There's so many tools. Every day there's like this and that. Like it's like where do you start and everything, and so that's really the only challenge that I kind of see right now. Because it's there's just new things every day. ChatGPT seems to it gets better every single day. And now it's got agent mode, and and now this whole agent thing is that's new. Everybody's going to be rushing into how can we implement the agents and stuff. But it always come. It always will still come to the point to where like the human is gonna have to get involved at some point. I mean, it can only go so far. I mean, even in recruiting, it's not like AI. AI is just the newest kind of toy in a way. Over the last 20 years, there's been so many tools that have tried to make you recruit, faster and screen faster and this and that, and all these things, and that's beautiful. But guess what? The hiring manager still wants to talk to you, So, they're still going to want to talk and meet with you and everything. And so like the human, so like no matter how fast on the front end, the human being is still going to hold it up. The human's going to hold it, whether it's the candidate's going to hold it up because they're not the manager. It's not like one person. It's going to be a whole team of people getting them all on the same page and everything. No matter how much data that they want to see on what this person has done, they still not talk to them. They, and then they say they would really like to meet with you, and is really what they want to do, and they want to have a team meet with you, and then and it's like, is the candidate in any better shape? No, they're still worn out. They're worn out by the time, hey, that may have been easier for them to put the resume in and all that. So that may have been easier and everything. But by the time they've gone through whatever initial screening for the AI does, and then talk with whoever human the next human that's going to ask them the same questions that they, like they're still they're worn out, you know,
Mm.
they are, you know, and then, and the high manager is still like, oh my gosh, well, this is beautiful. This, you're perfect. But gosh, there's so many choices. I don't know. I just, everything is so great. I can't make this in it. It's, so
Wow. Okay. All right.
yeah.
You mentioned that you've been using automation for lead generation and revenue growth. However, before you started to use this system, what was the biggest bottleneck in finding and qualifying potential clients that you've experienced, especially when it comes to you getting a government contract? So I just wanted to walk us through some of those difficult moments, some of those bottlenecks before you finally found the right AI tools and automation for your lead generation and growth.
There's always big tools. There's always been, it's kind of like you just pick one and go with it, with that fits within your budget and everything. I mean, there's some that I've used that have so many things that I would never use, like HubSpot, for instance. I mean, I spend a lot of money on that and has all this beautiful stuff that I would never use. And, but I don't know, versus that's just kind of my thing, because you could spend all day, every day looking at tools and evaluating tools, and they're all good and they all kind of are going to achieve the same thing, but you just gotta just pick one, go with it, and yeah, that's it's hard. It's because there's always gonna be a new one that's gonna you're always gonna get approached by I don't know. You just gotta just go with one, let it do its thing, and then give it some time, because none of them have immediate results.
Okay.
When it comes to like the government stuff, I mean that's kind of why I like government contracting, because I mean, I'm not doing as much lead generation. Hey, I get us some contracts, and I'm good for, they typically last, a year or 5 years or so. So, although, yeah, I still have a lot of that, I still have a lot of sequences going, but I don't know, it's
Yeah, but before you get hold of
Mhm.
this system, before you are able to get hold of this automation, what was the problem that you normally have when it comes to lead generation and growth? I think
Mhm.
you want to share some of those with us?
I guess, you always want to build new relationships and everything. And, so that's always a challenge, to have a constant flow of new people to talk to that may be interested down, either now or down the road, and cultivate those relationships. Follow up is always a big thing that AI can help a lot out with that stuff. But, the challenge is that it's like within LinkedIn, their algorithms change, and then just things that worked a few months ago don't work, and this thing has changed a lot, and how, yeah, I don't know. I think people are really used to getting so many different messages now of that it's just a challenge to always kind of just break through on getting responses and getting engagement, from, and so, it's not anything that you can just set and leave. You're constantly updating it, and different things work. And sometimes, and after a while they don't work as well. Yeah, so it's all, you're trying different platforms and different things. So yeah,
Yeah.
just people's things change all the time, and to kind of stay on top of that that's always a challenge.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, yeah. I know people do try to solve a lot of problem when it comes to lead generation, when it comes to client acquisition, even management of your client, management of the leads, but at the end of the day, it's not just about the tools, but how effective are those tools? Are they actually solving the problem that you want them to solve? Are they actually bringing in the new client that you want to see? Are these the right kind of client? Those are some of the questions. But at the end of the day, when you have the tool, some will still say they still have some problems. They still see some certain things they need to resolve. In your own case, Have you been able to overcome all the challenges when it comes to lead generation, even with your AI tool and automation? Or you still have some bottlenecks that you think you still need to figure out how to solve them?
I mean, I'm probably the biggest bottleneck within that because I get so busy and it's hard for me to just follow up, in a timely manner on a lot of things. There's just a lot of things that are happening with us, with different clients I'm working with, and so but yeah, it's just there's not enough of me to go around right now. That's my biggest. We're growing, and I'm hoping to have more people to be able to take that off of my personal
All right.
plate here.
So if I hear you correctly, following up on potential clients, it's still some of the biggest bottleneck that you've seen, even with your AI tool today. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess you can definitely always find a way around that. But yeah, because again, as a business owner, you're the chief executive officer, you want to focus on those strategic tasks rather than doing those manual tasks in terms of following up on leads or following up on prospects. Definitely and surely that can also be automated for you. You have this unique perspective having multiple certified businesses. You are MBE, DB, Group Zone, and the likes. How is AI helping you leverage this certification more effectively? Are you seeing AI to level the playing field, for small businesses competing against larger contractors?
I would say that it helps lay the playing field, as it pertains to like propo- proposal responses, and really kind of understanding the requirements and stuff, because that's always a big challenge. Pricing, be able to really effectively respond to your pricing. It really helps quite a bit. When it comes to that, nice graphics and stuff to your proposals, can really do a good job of so you're not having to like search for different graphics and all that. It can do a lot of that for you. So yeah, I definitely and then with your responses, to make sure that you're always mentioning, hey, we're certified, here these are certifications and stuff. Those are important, but there's a lot of tools that could help you. Well, they'll send you opportunities on a daily basis, from different federal and cities, states, and stuff, and it'll be kind of sorted into what may fit your specific AICS codes, your capabilities, and your certifications and stuff, and tell you, hey, this you look like this would be a good fit for you to respond to. And so, yeah, there's some good.
Thanks so much for that.
Mhm.
Tony, this has been incredibly insightful.
Thank
As we wrap up, I want to make sure our audience walk away with some actionable wisdom. For a business owner who is listening or watching at one stage or the other and thinking, I want to explore government contracts, but it seems overwhelming. What's some piece of advice that you can give in terms of strategy?
Mhm.
Because somebody may think, how did you get it so easily? Is there anything you want to share with our audience that they could be able to take away and probably also try to get some government contract?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things, I mentioned it earlier, most people, they think of government contract, they just think of the federal government, but hey, there's a lot of different government agencies, there's cities, counties, the states, there's school systems, colleges, and universities. You have a lot of transit agencies. There's just so many different opportunities within your own backyard. And a lot of those states, cities, counties have their own certifications for being in small business. A lot of them have, for being a woman or minority owned. A lot of them have certifications just for being a local business enterprise. And I've been awarded contracts here in my area because they really wanted to do business with a local business, and they awarded it to us over large international staffing companies. So, don't take it for granted. There's a lot of opportunities, that, there's not many times that you can leverage being a woman, being a minority, and government contracting is one way that you can do that. And the reason why is because, like, it's not because it's the right thing to do and everything. It's because it's the law. You know, these large companies like Northrop Grumman, or like they would never give opportunities to anybody else. They would take it off. If it wasn't the law, they would never do it. So, you know, yeah, think about that $1.5 trillion infrastructure package that was passed a few years ago. That's through the Department of Transportation, for instance. That's why we have a lot of our roads and bridges, our airports, because all that stuff falls under the Department of Transportation, gets certified as a DBE company. That comes from the Department of Transportation, because that'll open up a lot of doors, especially if you do construction or anything, at administration. There's a lot of opportunities under that. So, hey, I would look under that.
Maybe you want to share some specific strategy or step-by-step action that anyone that wants to go into looking for government contract, what should be the first thing, the second thing, or some of the things they just need to do? If you want to share some of those.
Well, make sure that, you have your company set up, however you're going to have it set up as an LLC or a corporation. They don't really like sole proprietors, but if you have that set up, I would make sure, you have at least a website and a professional email address, because they're not, they're using public dollars to, and they're going to check you out. So don't take that for granted. Make sure you have that stuff set up first, and some basic marketing materials, so that you have something to email people. When they, they're going to ask for your information, they're going to they want to go to your website and everything. So when you respond to different opportunities, that's what's going to happen. If they want to work with you and everything before they award it to you, they're going to do all that stuff first. Yes, make sure you have that set up. If you have a few references that your business has done, if you're a new business, if you even have some references from past clients, have that readily available, because you're going to need that too. So yeah, those are just a few things that in the beginning that I'd recommend.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And for someone who is already doing some government contracting, but wants to use AI to scale up just like you, what should be their first step? What is the lowest hanging fruit you think they could easily grab?
Well, yeah, ChatGPT is probably the lowest hanging thing there. You can use that to help you in your proposal responses, to really you understand the proposals and everything. And that's definitely the lowest hanging thing right there. So it'll really help you up your game when it comes to your proposal responses and understanding what they are and everything. That's the one tool. Yeah, you definitely, there's a lot of tools that are for in the government. They're integrated with ChatGPT anyway. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Where can our audience connect with you and learn more about Strategic 360? And if someone just wants to explore working with you, what's the best way they could reach you?
Yeah, the easiest way, my email is tony@govconnectors.com. Check out govconnectors.com. Also, I've got a TikTok channel called Gov Connectors. I think I've got over 12,000 followers on there. I'm putting out stuff on a daily basis.
Okay.
And but yeah, reach out to me. And also, you can my Calendly link is Calendly/Tony Beaman. So we can set up a time to talk, have a strategy session, and kind of go from there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're really grateful for your time today, sharing your expertise, sharing your journey with us, with our audience. I think a lot of point has been made, a lot of action steps also have been recommended, and I believe our audience will be able to make use of them, and probably we'll be able to get 1 or 2, 3 people that will come and say, well, based on what Tony shared, now I'm able to also get some government contract, which is going to be very fascinating. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure.
And wish you well on your journey going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
You didn't quit your day job to become a full-time admin assistant. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you didn't start your business to spend 60 hours a week on paperwork, chasing leads, and managing endless admin tasks. You started it to build something meaningful and serve your clients. But right now, you're trapped in the day-to-day grind instead of growing your business. What if I told you our clients are reclaiming 15, 20 hours per week, increasing their revenue by 30 to 50% within 6, 12 months, and finally getting their lives back? We don't just automate random tasks. We build custom AI systems that eliminate the bottlenecks choking your growth, from leads generation to lead, nurturing and management to project management to client follow-ups. Stop paying for an expensive, frustrating manual system. It's time to upgrade to strategic automation. Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free business transformation strategy call today. Discover exactly how much time and money you're losing to manual processes and how to get both back. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Intelligence Forge, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode packed with game-changing insights. Your future automated business is waiting.